thank you very much to the organising committee for the opportunity just to tell you a little bit about TCEP. I've been a regional coordinator, a part-time gig for the last few years. It's a program I really think is worthwhile, believe in. We're very, very fortunate to have some great support through SMEDG and through some of the companies that are here. So I just wanted to thank you, and I want to tell you a little bit about TCEP, the Teacher of Science Education Program. So fundamentally what we do is we teach the teachers. We go to predominantly high schools and we talk to science teachers, particularly in junior school, but also teachers who teach senior year 11 and 12 classes, and also primary and infant schools. And we're trying to help them be better informed to teach geoscience to their students. We want them to be well informed, we want them to be enthusiastic, we want them to be passionate, and we wanted them to really inspire that next generation of geoscientists to come through. I think most people appreciate that geoscience teaching is having some challenges at the moment, and that's in school and in universities, unfortunately. High school teachers are also really under the pump. They're pretty stressed. They don't necessarily come from a geoscience background. They're quite often biologists or chemists or physicists. And also, we're not seeing what's called ESS, Earth Science and Earth and Environmental Science taught in senior high school in many schools either throughout the country, which is a problem for our future geosciences. What we also do is try and get some crossover into other STEM disciplines. So I think you'd all appreciate that we need people who like rocks and minerals and fossils, but we also need people who are chemists, physicists, mathematicians, people who are good communicators, etc. in our sector. We're a not-for-profit. We've been around since 2007, and our chair, Jill Stevens, has been there from day one. She was actually awarded the Selwyn Medal from the Geological Society of Australia Victorian Division in 2022 for her services to geoscience education. We work with the Australian Science Teachers Association. That gives us the kudos, and it gives teachers the accreditation for attending our workshops. And we really get by on the smell of an oily rag, where, as I said, we've got a few coordinators across the country who are part-time. We're relying on volunteer time. We're relying on generous partners and sponsors. And we also are relying on the sales of some rock kits that we've put together and been selling since 2007. And I'll show you some pictures of those shortly. The primary thing that we do is we go and we run professional development workshops for teachers. Sometimes they're after school, sometimes they're all day things. We also do webinars as well, which have been really successful, particularly during COVID and coming out of the COVID lockdowns. We also do classroom incursions, which are a lot of fun, and we also do field trips for teachers, which are a lot of fun. Just getting them out into the field, getting them to do some basic observations and come to some conclusions, and also look at the landscapes that they live in and think about how they form. We directly address the content of the curriculum. The Australian curriculum's just changed, it's being implemented across Australia at the moment, and that's from kindy right through to year 12. And you can see some examples of some of the workshops we do there. So everything from our place in space, looking at seasons and looking at tides and looking at eclipses and things like that, through to plate tectonics, not just how plate tectonics works, but also the evolution of the theory of plate tectonics and how these ideas, I guess, first came around about in the 1500s, and how the evidence is built up over time to support that theory. We look at how hazards are related to plate tectonics, so volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, etc. We look at groundwater, we look at climate change. We've been developing we have developed some new workshops around critical minerals and the energy transition, and that's really, I guess people don't think about where their everyday materials come from. They're certainly not thinking about where materials in renewable energy and EVs and etc. are coming from. So that's been a really successful workshop that we've been running. And to try and get this crossover into things like biology, we've been looking at life explosions, mass extinctions through time as well, which is always good fun. Here's a few pictures. There's a nice picture of Scott down there. I was out at Cobar, I think it was 2 years ago now. Thanks to them for his company for their support out there. And you can see we're getting across the country, Broken Hill, Ulladulla on the south coast, down in Tassie as well at Burnie, and getting into the classrooms, talking to students and doing some fun things with them to try and inspire them. This is the Australian Rock Kit. It's actually pictured there with our new critical minerals kit as well, and I've got one of each of those around on a little table, and I'm around in the exhibition rooms that way. Thanks, Mark. Around there, guess the grade. So if you want to guess the grade, then come and guess the rocks and the minerals and where they're from and how old they are if you want another challenge. It's not as good a prize for that one. But there's 1,200 of these rock kits out there now in schools across Australia. That's not a trivial exercise to have 1,200 consistent specimens to make up those rock kits. There's 3 boxes, igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic, of course, but those rocks are linked to online resources like high-resolution photography, which was done through the AusGeol collaboration at UTAS. We've also got photomicrographs that were done at Macquarie Uni. We've also got a plate tectonic poster that puts the formation areas for those rocks into place. And now it's linked to our critical minerals kit. So we've got 26 minerals in 2 boxes. There's a whole heap of people in this room who've contributed samples or ferried samples across the country. Doug is certainly one of those and got some great magnetite samples thanks to him. So really thank you to those people who've helped put those together. And it's just such a simple thing to give somebody a rock or a mineral and get them to describe it, look at the physical properties, think about how it formed, look at the differences, look at how you can interchange rocks through the rock cycle processes. It sounds really simple, and it is, but it's actually really effective, and it's really gets the enthusiasm of the teachers up really quickly. And you can see, again, some of the places we've been. So Grenfell, central New South Wales, up the Coonabarabran, Cloncurry up in northern Queensland. A lot of these areas are mining areas, but they still don't have great geoscience taught in the schools there. And I think Scott was telling me that Cobar hasn't ever had a Cobar High School geologist. I'm not sure if he's still here, but that's a bit of a worry if you can grow up in that town and not do geoscience as a career. These are our partners, and a huge thank you to SMEDG. SMEDG is our platinum partner. AIG are a long-term supporter. There's companies like Evolution and the like that you can see there. We got a lot of in-kind support from the surveys and from universities as well. We've got companies and people who sponsor us to go to schools. So when we get a sponsor, we are able to use that sponsorship to provide a rock kit or a minerals kit to a school. When they get that rock kit or minerals kit, we then go and run some workshops on how to use those resources, and then run some other workshops as well. And you can see the whole list of people there who support us in that. But again, just a massive thank you to SMEDG. SMEDG very generously gave us some money after the Golden Jubilee dinner 2 years ago, and that's been fantastic for us to develop some of our resources, some of our workshops, and go to schools that aren't directly sponsored by companies. So we've been able to get out to disadvantaged schools, to regional schools, to things like the Sydney Distance Learning School, things like that. And you can see some of the examples there across New South Wales, Queensland and South Australia of places we've been able to get to and talk to the teachers and talk to the students thanks to SMEDG's generosity. Now, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people in Australia think geologists and they think mining. They think geologists and they think rocks, minerals and fossils. But of course, there's so many applications of geoscience and earth sciences, from geodesy through to coastal management, which we're going to have a higher requirement going forward, through to urban geology, through to renewable energy, whatever you want to say. So this is a beautiful poster that the British Geological Society put together. This is a not quite so beautiful graphic that I put together. But I just wanted to make the point that a lot of teachers and a lot of students, and probably the community, don't realise that in geoscience and earth sciences, there's a career opportunity for everyone. Whether you're good at biology or physics or chemistry or maths, or you're just good at talking, We need all of those skills in our sector. And there's a career path for everyone, no matter what their interests and their skills are. Now, at the moment with the Australian curriculum that's just being implemented, kids do plate tectonics and the rock cycle in Year 8. It's the way it's fallen out. They're pretty much making up their minds on their senior high school subjects in Year 9. And not many schools offer ESS, Earth and Environmental Science, in Year 11 and 12. So if kids don't get the exposure to well-informed and enthusiastic and passionate teachers in Year 8, they're never going to do geoscience at university. We're very unlikely to do geoscience at university. When we teach the teachers, of course, each teacher's got a class or multiple classes of kids, so that multiplier effect is enormous. And that's why we believe in getting into the teachers' ears and helping them be better at teaching geoscience. Just to give you a little flavour, you can see the distribution of places we've been over the last 16 years. We are mostly based in the eastern states, but we've been to every state and territory. We've done over 3,800, we've had over 3,800 teachers attend our workshops. We've had a lot attend our webinars, we've had a lot attend our field trips, and we've done we've had a lot of students attend class incursions. The field trips are a lot of fun. I've run some recently up in Castle Hill in North Queensland, around Red Hill and Deakin Anticline in Canberra, Warrumbungles, which was using the GSNSW's fantastic Warrumbungle Geotrail as a basis. And thanks to Eris and Chris Raymond, we were able to take some teachers from Nyngan out to Girralambone, and it's the first time they've ever seen an open cut or they've seen a drill rig. It's just such an eye-opener to see how these things work, and you could see these little light bulbs going off about, oh, that's where the copper in my wire comes from, etc. So just fantastic opportunities for these teachers. This year we've been up to Queensland, we've been in South Australia, we've done lots of stuff, got some workshops that actually happened in Wodonga this week with one of my colleagues. I'm off to Cairns and Townsville in October, and then down at Geoscience Australia in their education centre, and that's just a fantastic resource. If you're going to Canberra, make sure you go to GA and visit Shona and the team in the Ed Centre. It's touch a bit of the moon. It's just an amazing facility they've got there. So we've done a lot. It's also really challenging. We've got this new curriculum being implemented. You've got every state having its own response to that, and then you've got the public sector schools, and then you've got the Catholic sector schools as well. So everyone's all in a bit of limbo about where they're at with that curriculum, so it makes it hard. We've developed these workshops that really address issues of society today, like critical minerals, energy transition. It's really, really hard to get teachers in capital cities and urban areas engaged. We have a lot more success in regions. So if you've got kids and you live in a city, you feel they need more geoscience education as part of their schooling, come and see us, because that's exactly the sort of thing that TSEP can help with. Teachers are also really under-resourced, and they're always changing, so it's hard to get continuity from year to year with schools. As I mentioned, the mineral kit's brand new. It's fantastic. I'm very lucky to have such great samples donated from companies or collected by amateur societies or donated by the Opal people up at Lightning Ridge, and then they've just been prepared by volunteers, they've been labelled by volunteers, they've been ferried around the state. As I said, Doug and Todd dropped some sphalerite off today for us as well, so we really appreciate all the support of people in this room and people in the industry for that. So just a huge thank you to all our partners, particularly SMEDG as a platinum partner. We really, really appreciate your ongoing support. Also AIG, also quite a few people who are in this room have been long-term supporters of SMEDG. Thank you so much. I've just killed my slide, I realised. But it's that support and funding that makes this all worthwhile. And please come and have a chat to me. As I said, I'm hanging out near the Guess the Grade. Over there. It must be time to wrap up. So thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.